right, guys. So it's been about a year since I bugged Ed since we decided to rock and roll. We'd actually been friends for about 2.5 years, but I would say literally a year ago tomorrow. Today we're recording on March 16th. I'll try to post this on the 17th. I told some buddies, I'm like, hey, I need some help. I don't think I can do this Newport Beach Insurance Center thing on my own. Thanks for hopping in, Ed.
Welcome. Thanks, man. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. It's great.
Uh,
Yeah, the year's been great. It's been
well, it's been, it's not up and to the right, you know what I mean? It's not a perfect growth chart, but we've had some really good months, and the CAPTA IMS build out's been a pleasant surprise. Um, I wrote down some notes beforehand. So we've insured startups, we've insured auto garages, we've insured even a flight school that doesn't have a plane yet. We insured a window tinting company. That was kind of cool. A few different things as we've doubled down on the automotive space lately. We've got a couple opportunities around dealerships to at least, take some swings. Haven't landed one yet. We've done personal lines in California, Utah, Texas, and Idaho. With my work with Fineo, we teamed up with a great IMO, been able to place some life insurance. So a lot further to go, but for year one, being cash flow positive, even though you can tell our overhead's nothing crazy right now,
sure.
it's good to do. I'm pumped. What's been the biggest surprise to you your first year of kind of entrepreneurship?
Well, I think that right off the bat, I think the craziest part has been that we rode a flight school that didn't even have a plane.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
That was kind of funny,
Yeah,
but yeah, we were able to knock that out.
that was
No,
pretty
I mean
quick too. Yeah.
it's so far. I mean it's been a a learning experience, and it's been great. I mean, I think we're doing really well. I think that my expectations are a little bit are being met. I kind of thought that it would be a little bit slower process than what it's really turned out to be. I mean, we're not tearing down doors or anything, but and it is not. I mean, it is. Uh, it is work. I mean, you
Yeah.
have to work for it. I mean, we're up every day. We're doing this. We're having our meetings every morning, and we're talking to clients throughout the day, and we're trying to make things move and happen. Um, so by no means is it a cakewalk, but I'm really happy so far um, where we've come, and
Yeah.
and if year one's been like this, I can only imagine what year two and four and six will look like um, as we grow the agency, and the fact that also basically out of necessity we created along with Mark Mescal and Radio Mark, we created the CAPTA IMS again out of necessity, so that we had a management system for ourselves, which
Hmm.
I think is really going to lend really well to the independent small to medium sized agents out there that really are kind of held by some of these larger management systems that are
Or it's cost
cost
prohibitive
prohibitive.
to
Yeah,
get started and get in. So just for a little bit of background, we kind of reconnected. We've been friends for a couple of years, but last March to get rolling on the agency, and then last summer Ed brought up a buddy who had a agency management system. Actually, at the time it was a lending CRM that we've been tuning into an agency management system. And ahead of that, we've been storing client files on Google Drive, spreadsheets, and it was getting a little unruly, even at dozens, I'll say. Um, and then the idea of working on the agency management system, I was daunted at first, but Ed's been open-minded to all my crazy ideas, so I went with it. And right now we have a couple outside users, a few of which are CPCUs that are helping us tune up the system. So we'll add that into the notes, but that was definitely a happy accident. So for myself, I've only been at smaller organizations, and I've dealt with leads and making cold calls, whatever else. Ed's previous life as an agency manager for a bigger one, they had a lot of inbound. I would say one of the surprises to you was kind of the legwork we have to do to get in front of people, huh? I know.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of funny. I've come from agents working at agencies that already had long-standing reputations, and the business flow was there. The phone was ringing. People were getting emails regularly. So now I'm kind of I'm learning how it's, how to create and try to capture potential clients and
Yeah.
with people. Um, yeah, it's it's kind of challenging. And on top of that, although I've in previous life I've managed teams of sales of agents and uh, account managers and customer service reps. Um, I've never necessarily myself been a sales guy, so I've never considered myself a sales guy, even though you're licensed and you
Hmm.
have all your credentials. And when you tell people, like people outside of the insurance world, you tell them that you're in the insurance industry, the first thing they think is like, oh, you're an insurance sales guy. No, not really an insurance sales guy. I've been kind of like an insurance marketing guy, an
We
insurance.
dragged Ed over to the dark side now, though. You've had to put your sales hat on, and you've done great. I wasn't worried ahead of time because you're a likable dude and you can tell a story. A lot of it's just I'll say the thick skin, it's on the client's time. My buddy Pat would joke like Dignity wasn't invited to the party. Sometimes it sucks. Sometimes you don't hear back from somebody from 4 to 5 messages, and they need it 2 days later, and you
Right.
got to sprint around with the chicken with your head cut off. But, we're the service provider. And I've worked at multiple restaurants. Some people are really considerate and understand you have a lot of things going on. Other people want it on their timing right then and there. Them's the breaks, and it stinks that I joke right now, we're not the attractive male or female at the bar. We're the goofy looking male or female that wants to talk to the attractive male or female at the bar right now. We have to be a little hungry. You never want to be desperate, but we have to be a little hungry right now. you know.
That was the story of my life. That scenario you just gave.
We got Yvette, who she's looking out for us, our sales manager.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've insured some classic vehicles. I was lucky to work with a couple startups last year, but they're hard because everyone's a different fit and they're not necessarily easy to process. So that's where we kind of pivoted from the advice of a buddy, where I'm helping Ed double down on auto, whether it's cold calling or a podcast. And I think that's been a real positive, change for us. One other thing I've noticed on our website is we have a lot of activity with forms and whatever else. I love my InsurTech and Squarespace, but we need some cleaner calls to action. If we get people there, we got to tell them more or less what they should do. So that's kind of a hole in our game. Is there anything else you think, Ed, as we're kind of headed into year two, you feel
Well,
like we should do a little more of?
I mean, I think that we as an agency we need to kind of I guess clean up and make our website a little bit more user friendly.
Hmm.
I think about it as anybody that comes and visits the website. Think of them as like real basic, simple. A second grader can manipulate it, and understand where to go. And we have basically the tools in there, so you could go in there and you can, if you want to quote your commercial risk, you can go in there and you can open up a screen and under the commercial side, and you can fill out, give us all the commercial stuff. If you've got a classic or collectible automobile, you can go in there and give us the info on that.
Hmm.
And that at least gets us the ball rolling, makes it easy, because what we're trying to do, and it's hard, you can't eliminate it 100%, but we're trying to eliminate as much back and forth
Yeah.
with
We
the
want to make it
client.
easy on the customers
Right.
and I mean ourselves to a degree too. The quicker we can handle the minutia, the more people we can actually take care of and have real
Right.
conversations, you know.
Right. I mean,
And then
I think, Brett, you and I are kind of, we've kind of looked, are looking at this a little bit outside the box, out of the normal way that a lot of these kind of established agencies have been doing things. So I think that that's in our benefit, that
mhm.
we're a lot more flexible than I
Well,
think other ones are.
small things, even like, and I give this credit to Mark Muscala and Cap IMS, having a client portal where we can leave documents for insureds, where they can have things on hand that they need. But trying to make life on easy on insureds and easy on ourselves. To be
Right.
honest, we want to do the work, but the work we want to do is connecting, building relationships, making sure there's proper insurance coverage. We also want to avoid 14 PDFs back and forth with the insured. They're not loving
Right.
it, and it's not our bread and butter. Um, one other thing that I think would be fun just to touch on real quick is, we've gone through, like you were saying, we're talking about this earlier today, setting up an LLC, building out our agency management system. I built out our website with Squarespace, and we have Google, Google Drive or the Google Suite, LinkedIn. If anybody's watching this and thinking about getting into the brokerage game, doing your own thing, we're happy to be a resource. All private conversations. Be happy to do demos at Capta IMS or introduce you to the IMO that Fineo works through if you have some life insurance experience. But yeah, we're here as resources, as people pulling themselves up by their bootstraps, and happy to help other people looking to do the same.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I mean, it's a network of like-minded individuals that are, our goal is to continue growing the insurance space. I mean, it's really easy in today's world for someone to kind of go online and go get a quote directly from a carrier, and for many types of risks. Not all risks can be done that way, but
Hmm.
a good majority of them and are you can access them directly online. But there's something to be said to have a consultant or have
Oh
an
yeah.
agent in your back pocket, such as Newport Beach Insurance Center, us at our agency, because one, one of the questions I've had is like, well, if I write my business with you, what does it cost me to write my business with you? Well, it doesn't cost you anything.
Hmm.
The insurance companies, they absorb that expense. So technically, if you go to, in most states, if you go to the insurance company and they give you a $1,200 quote, that same $1,200 quote isn't going to be, let's say, $1,400
Well,
if you did it through us.
and the other reason I'll tell people to potentially work with a human, I think technology is phenomenal. I like direct to consumer all day long, but I do worry about people setting their own risks without knowing what they're doing. For instance, in California, 15, 30, 10 is the minimum, but you're driving around anywhere that's not enough coverage. You get in any sort of accident, you're going to be paying for that even if you go bankrupt, if somebody gets really hurt. So I like direct to consumer. I've been recommending guardrails to where people can't buy below a 5150, for instance. But if we have a phone conversation, I got to say, you might want more personal liability on your home because, you have kids and, their friends could be playing on the trampoline and whatever else, and somebody could get injured and you might get sued, or you could be playing softball. There could be an accident with a bat. Has to be an accident, can't be on purpose. That personal liability is going to help you out there. So there's going to be little edge cases. For instance, having worked with Blake to do some P&C at Maxwell, he always said hire an unknown auto, business, personal property, on and off premise, and water backup. Didn't care if it was going to be, a couple dollars more if somebody wanted to go somewhere else. Like, we want to cover those edge cases where the insurance is probably actually going to get used. So when you're working with an insurance professional, you get some of that logic. Whereas, I think the direct to consumer tools are fine, but if you get past a certain point of coverage or leverage or need, I think bringing in a person, I'm biased, is still helpful. You know.
Yeah, no, I think so too. I mean, and having an agent, I mean, it does give you a little bit of peace of mind. They are a person in your team, um, just like you would have an accountant, if you would have an attorney. You have your agent, your insurance consultant. I mean, we are all kind of in the same little
Hmm.
package for you for the public. So
It's funny to say it, and we're licensed, bonded, insured. Like, it's a serious game.
yeah. These are legal contracts. These are
Yeah,
legal contracts that you're signing when you buy an insurance policy. These are legal contracts.
and it's funny to say, but we don't take things lightly on our end too. It's a stressful job reviewing all the stuff, trying to get it out there, making sure the money's are right. Like, we appreciate it. We appreciate the annuity side of it, but we're definitely working for the business and also feel the weight of the business that we're writing. So
And I feel real optimistic. I mean, now year one's kind of behind us now. Year two is only going to get better,
yeah,
and we're going to grow and expand, and we're going to learn, and we're gonna touch more people and help more people,
yeah.
and and be more involved in the community. Hopefully, obviously, you know, the the virus issue that's gone on this last year, it has just been weird
Yeah,
for, I
because we're
think,
working
any
from home
business.
and we have a little office we can use, but this has been the way of the world lately.
Yeah.
Um, And I would just say I want to commend you on year one. I know my first year of trying to be independent, there are what I'll call dark nights of the soul. It's not like everything's clicking at once. It takes a minute to get the flywheel going. But I do think that first year of being independent is hard and it's really cool to get through it. And yeah, anybody else who's interested, happy to point you to our resources, whether it's Capta, Google, Vistaprint. Insurance Nerds is a phenomenal community. We even have a little Capta user community on there. We have great carrier access partners we work with, great GAs. So yeah, reach out if you're interested. But yeah, thanks for watching this. And Ed, thanks for joining me for the past year and really helping level up Newport Beach Insurance Center. It went from like a DBA that was sort of almost like a test kitchen to an actual company. And I appreciate the
Yeah.
help and support and, willingness to partner up.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's been great. It's been great fun so far, and I know we're gonna have a lot more fun moving forward. And I'm just want to be able to help people out there and grow the company.
Heck yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you. Bye, guys.